Hey, they say the moon landing was fake. JFK, man, they wanted him erased. Aliens and bunkers, government lies, chemtrails painting secrets in the skies. It's a co-host, dual voice or the code, digging through the chaos down every dark road. New world order, we taking names. Bigfoot's real and he knows the game. Conspiracy chaos where the truth gets wild. From pyramids to lizard kings in exile. They hide it all, but we pull the thread. So buckle up tight, it's all in your head. Conspiracy chaos where the truth gets wild. From pyramids to lizard kings in exile. They hide it all, but we pull the thread. So buckle up tight, it's all in your head.
This is Conspiracy Chaos. Truth, fiction, or both? Let's dive in.
Let's go back with another episode of Conspiracy Chaos. My name is RGB. Joining me, as always, got the boys, Area 51 Anthony and Golf and Lefty Florida Mike. What's up, fellas?
Hey guys,
What's going on, boys?
Not much, man. Just back here with another banger, doing what we do. Joining us tonight, our special guest is Miss Heidi Love. Heidi, appreciate you taking the time and joining us here tonight on Conspiracy Chaos.
welcome.
Yeah, I'm happy to be here. Happy. Thank you so much, you guys.
I'm a little bit familiar with your story and your history. I did listen to you, as we just mentioned, prior to recording on Tinfoil, about the Mormonism and you escaping the cult and such. It was actually, I was watching American Primeval at the time. It was the recording, so it was very interesting to me at the time. Brigham Young and all the crazy shit with that is the backstory was really interesting. Something I didn't know about, I think, was what really was intriguing to me. But why don't you tell us a little bit about your story in the Mormon church and I guess cult, as you call it, and
Yeah, I
how it
call
all
it a
began
cult. It's
for
the
you.
nicest cult. Yeah, it's the nicest cult you'll ever have, right? Like I think Joe Rogan says that all the time. They're so nice though. I'm like, yeah, well, depends
Until-
on where you live, right? Too. And if you get out and you tell the secrets, they really are not too amused with you. But that's all right. We can't leave. I'm here. I'm stuck here. So I'm still in Utah. My family not only were like original pioneers from Mormonism, like literally like came from the whole beginnings of the whole mess on the women's side, not, so not only did she marry Joseph on one of these, but she married both of them. So yeah, Huntington is where I come from. And there's a few others. They all intersect because they inbreed like crazy. But well, back then, I mean, not now, but
Okay.
depending.
Yeah, right.
So some of the polygamy cults do actually still, even though it's against the law. But they hired a geneticist so that they wouldn't make, issues in their clan anymore. That's the Kingstons. But I will tell you, it's a strange dichotomy living here out of the church. You're kind of ostracized in a nice way. Like nobody's going to say anything to your face, but they're like, you know what, that girl, she like, and it's starting to get around. Like for a long time, I went under the radar because like, who's going to listen to you? And nobody really cares. And it's not like you wear a button that says I do a podcast like about ex-Mormons and stuff. It's not, I mean, it wasn't like that, but then it took off. Right. And then now I'm getting people from my area, like, oh, I'm from blah, blah, blah. Right. And it's like right next to me. I'm like, people at the store and stuff. And then you're like, uh-oh. And now you just get the look. You get the look. It's either they love you or they just hate you. And so that's half my life. So
But it's
I
mean, for what you're doing, it's the flip of a coin. You're gonna get the person who's all about what you're doing, or you're gonna get the person who totally resents it. And that's kind of
for sure.
You're in a tough spot. You're in a real tough spot.
Well,
There's no in between for you, really. There's not the ones like, oh, maybe she's doing a good thing.
Maybe she's okay. Yeah, she's either the devil or she's amazing. And it doesn't matter to me because it really was a calling, and I just felt like I should do this, and then like it actually was supposed to be that, I guess, because more than like 9 people listened to me, and I didn't think that was going to happen. And then I like cried for 6 episodes because I'm old, I'm going to be 50 this year, and I couldn't even upload. I had a floppy disk in school. Like I didn't know what all this was. Like
we were playing Oregon
on my
Trail.
own. Yeah,
Yep.
I was doing all that. I'm like, what is happening? There's no more iMovie. Like, what do you mean? Yeah. So it was rough. That was a rough start. But, eventually you just either decide to stay with it and dig deep, I've never been a quitter, so there's that. That's what happens when you have a 5'9" girl. So
Mhm.
yeah, you're not really one to lay down. Although I will say the little short ones, they're pretty bad too. Yeah, you
You
gotta
can be
watch
some
them.
scrappers.
Janet,
You can be some
yeah,
scrappers.
love
Yeah,
Janet. So, one way or another, I just think it's funny that people don't know their history. We don't know our history in general in the world. Okay, we are a history full of amnesia people, which is weird. And then Mormons extra have amnesia. They're like that, and they play it so good too. It's either like they know it happened low key, and that's usually the men because it's a patriarchal society, and they'll be like I'll say something and they won't say anything. They'll just be like, yep, she knows. Like, oh man, she knows. Like and they don't want to talk about it, right? It's like, well, please stop talking about it. Or it's women and men that don't know as much, and they go, that is absolutely not true. You are a liar. Like they will fight you to the death right now. And I'm like, look, all I know is this is history. So here's the deal. I just made a slideshow because I decided when I left the church at 34ish, like I said, born in, raised in, like it's just you normally don't leave when you're like what I am. Like from the beginning on, every generation has been in. So I lost my family. Yeah.
Sorry, real quick. And now the strictness of it, is it like, so like obviously like BYU, you hear it as, I'm a sports fan, you hear with the players and why the poor kids don't have the top talent in the country doesn't go there. Me and Anthony are local to like Jimmer Fredette. He was from our area and obviously going to BYU. That's the closest connection we have to it. But like you hear with the rules, they can't drink, they can't smoke, they can't do this, they can't do that, they can't have
no games on Sundays either, right?
So
okay, so
but no sexual intercourse. Like you're in college,
well,
bro.
Yeah, no,
Well,
it's true.
soaking or something.
It's true. No, you're not supposed to do that. That's a lie. But so, and it's a funny lie. I'll give it to him. We did a whole show on it. Monthly
Okay.
Mormon Monday. I do a Paranoid American. We do it all the time, and it's really funny. And we did a whole episode on like soaking and bubbling and all these little rumors that people say that they can get around. It's like the workarounds, right? But they don't work because you still got naked and now you're in trouble. So.
Okay.
I mean, you're not supposed to do anything sexual. You're not over the clothes, not under the clothes. And yes, they will ask. Yes, they will.
Damn.
So it's not like you go into the bishop's office, at least at my age. Okay, things may have changed. And they're like, so you did some things. So exactly what? And you're like, all the things. Nope. They want to know in detail, in grave detail, this 45-year-old man behind a desk, and he's probably older than that.
Right.
And they're writing notes, and I don't even know. I was like, yep, never again. I remember after that, I was like, nope, I never do anything. Not with myself, not with others, never, ever. I was perfect. And honestly, I just got married at 17 because I was like, screw this. I don't want to go back in there. Like, it's just too hard. So I just got married straight, not even out the gate. I wasn't even out of high school yet. He was 25. That got weird. Yeah,
But that was normal.
Okay.
That was normal in
Yeah.
your culture at the time. Yeah.
My
That's
grandparents got
crazy.
married at 14 and 16. Yeah. And
Oh,
had
wow.
4 kids
Holy
before
shit.
20. So it was no
Man.
thing.
Wow.
People are always like, oh, how could your parents let you do that? And I'm like, well, I mean, what do you mean? We all did.
But
Yeah.
but it makes
Yeah.
that kind of makes sense though. All right, so when you're younger, you want to explore and do different,
Can't be
meet new
ten.
people, and
Yep.
stuff. But like that's kind of makes sense for why the men are allowed to have multiple wives and stuff, because that's their way of getting the chance to live like I guess you're married at 17, so a college style life to where you go and have a good time.
Well, that's polygamy. So I was mainstream LDS, and
Okay.
it really was still looked kind of like everybody just watched my stomach for 5 months, and they were like, they were just waiting for me to have a pregnancy, and I just was stupid, like on my very own. I was just that dumb, and so like I was in love, all that
Right,
stuff.
right.
I knew him like 4 weeks. This is a whole thing.
Oh
So
my gosh.
yeah. Oh my gosh.
Yeah,
it's
polygamy
so
was
bad.
like an early part of Mormonism,
still
right?
goes.
It still goes.
No, it still
Okay.
goes.
Still happens.
Yeah.
Okay.
Live and
Jeez.
strong.
I
It's
thought
in
it was.
yeah.
All right. I know there was a
FLDS.
show. There was a show on it, right? On HBO. I think my mom used to watch it. What was the show?
Yes.
It was-
Probably what Big Love, probably Big Love.
Big Love.
Maybe
That's what it was.
Mhm.
Big Love. Yeah.
So it's
Jesus.
real. It's still real and very much alive and kicking. But those are the fundamentalists. We call them okay, I'll tell you what we really call them. That's what they like to be called. We call them pligs. And I know that's rude. Like, look, everybody says it. Like, it's not just me. I'm not being rude. Like, it's just what it is. Okay. Like, everybody knows if you show up like Little House on the Prairie, like they're polygamists, they look like the Amish kind of. And everybody knows. And there's the Jeff's clan, and there's regular people that, are from a different clan. Like I was telling you about the Kingstons, and they intermarry, but you would never know. They look normal. They just wear like long sleeves and a higher cut neck and like jeans. But then like the other ones look like they seriously just got off Little House on the Prairie show. So there's so many different sects of this that you're like, whoa. And mine was just the boring mainstream one. And I say a cult because I want people to know it's still a cult. And here's the thing. No one knows they're in a cult when they're in the cult. It's like news to you. Yeah. And you get out and you do the walk of shame and you're like, oh my gosh, what were we doing in there? And then you like make a whole thing about it. And people are like, oh my gosh. And they're clutching their pearls. And you're like, everybody. So that was kind of what happened on my first show that I went on. I was talking about Mormonism and he's like, don't you guys do this weird stuff? And I'm like, oh yeah. I mean, why do you want to talk about Mormonism? We're talking about this thing. And he's like, no, we should talk about that. And he's like, I said, why? Everybody knows. And he's like, nobody knows.
Nobody knows.
So then I was like, then it clued into me, like, this is a very, everybody knows where you are, Heidi. Like, this is a Utah thing. And nobody talks about it. That's a no, you don't do that.
Mm-hmm.
So, because I want to inform you, I am going to outer darkness. There's only a couple ways you can get there. One is, if you murder an innocent child under the age of 8, hence why they took the Native Americans and the Brigham Young story. All that story is true. Everything you watched was true, but the dumb love story. The dumb love story was
right.
stupid.
That was just to give it a right.
Yeah, it could have done without it. Way better stuff in there. It's just no, all the good stuff. Yeah, that was all true. So they really did do that. And isn't it funny that they dressed up like Native Americans because they played this play before? And I'll show you where. You guys are closer to Mormonism than you might know. Except, well, Florida, they own most of your state, just so you know. But that's okay. Yeah, no, really.
New York State, though? In New York?
New York State, we're going to talk about it right now. I'm going to hit the share button, and I'm going to show you guys exactly why we're going to remember the Native American ploy, and we're going to get into some New York and Massachusetts.
Well, there's a lot of Native Americans up this way. I'm right on the border of New York and Massachusetts, actually. A lot of Iroquois and Algonquins are out in our area.
How far away are you from Salem?
Oh, about 2 hour and a half, 2 hours.
Hour and 15 minutes.
That's exactly where we start Mormonism. So it is not starting in Utah, like the lie they told everybody. But funny enough, they've ran the play before about the Native Americans because everything they're going to tell you about Mormonism. Can you see this okay?
No.
I'm going to bring it up here. Hold on. I'm going to bring it up.
You got it?
You got to, I see it down here.
There you go.
You see it up there? Everybody sees it. It's on our stage. Can you see it?
Okay. I can't. I go blind when I do this, so no problem.
Okay.
As long as you guys can see it, I'm good.
We can see you and the thing. We're good to go.
Yep.
So Samuel Smith was a selectman, okay, and this is very important. And he was a selectman for the area of Topsfield, Massachusetts, which is basically Salem. And the funny thing is this is all of Joseph Smith's posterity. Like this is all of his beginnings of his life. Like he comes from these people, and they want to like obfuscate this whole thing because it leads us somewhere, and they don't love it. But this particular one, I'm sure they would love to share it because they're very patriotic. I'm not going to say everything negative about Mormons because there's a lot of good things about them, and they are patriotic. And Samuel Smith was one of the Boston Tea Party ringleaders. He literally helped organize this. And what did they do? They dressed up as Native Americans and dumped the tea in the harbor, right? This has been done before. So, yeah. you know, and these are very big deal. So I want you guys to know something is that Joseph Smith, he was eligible. And I mean, all of his posterity is eligible for the Mayflower Society, the first families, all that stuff. He had 7 on the Mayflower, 7. He is not a nobody from New York, but I will tell you that story soon. The real story is the one I'm telling you now, and they are not dumb farmers. They're not uneducated, because the one thing about Captain Samuel Smith is a selectman is basically kind of like the mayor of the town. And his father, the reason why I do think they obfuscate everything is because the one before him was involved. So same name, Samuel Smith, drop the captain and go to the birth year 1666. And he was involved in the Inquisition. So he was involved in hanging witches. And he literally hung, he was kind of the guy that had like the last nail in the coffin for Mary Duty. And she was one of the most famous witches in Salem to be hung. She wasn't a witch really, but whatever, you know, she's labeled. And that's because she petitioned the state to stop this and stop accepting, you know, fake or spiritual, like basically people were coming in and saying, she spiritually attacked me in my dreams, so she's a witch. Yeah, that's what was going on. And so Samuel Smith said, she attacked me one night on my ride home on my horse. I felt a shove and I knew it was her, but I never saw her or anything. So they still hung her. They still hung her. So funny enough, they hung her. Yeah.
Salem's wild. My wife, we go once every couple of years around Halloween, and I'll tell you what, it makes your the hair on the back of your neck raise in that town for sure. You could feel
there was a lot of bad injustice that happened there. And also we know something about Salem that now we know who was really the guilty party, right? Those that were saying, I think me protests too much. Like it was her, not me. And it makes a lot of sense because I'm going to show you some stuff. But yeah, so the grandpa, he's involved in this. I think they just don't want anything to do with that. So they're like trying to distance themselves as much as they possibly can, because then it's a problem and they have to explain it. They don't want to explain it. They don't want to take the time. So that's basically why they do that for Salem. And this is another one that proves Topsfield, Massachusetts. That's where his father was born. His parents, Azazel, not Azazel, but it's close. You know, it's in the Bible. They'll come at me for that one. And Lucy Mack, who is of the, you know, Daniel Deacon, Lydia Gates is her, I think it's her grandmother, who comes from the Daniel Deacon Gates clan, which is related to Bill Gates. They'll say it's not, but I've done the genealogy. So if you go through Daniel Deacon Gates, you'll see that Lucy Mack's mother, Lydia, was definitely his child. So yeah, we've got a big twisted mess. Okay. And, you know, for people that know about the Mayflower and the Rosicrucians, makes a lot of sense. So, you know, especially for those that were like running from the queen because they wanted to reinstate the Stuart dynasty and get rid of her because, you know, Jacobins and stuff. But a lot of people don't know about this stuff. So it's a whole thing. And basically the church just wants to say none of that is relevant. Nothing happened here. Look away. So the funny part is the person that wrote the book was Lucy herself, which is Joseph's mom. And if she hadn't done that, I don't know how much we would have known. I mean, really, she kind of busted it open and she played her cards because, you know, Brigham was taking the church and he was taking everything. She'd lost all her family. She'd lost her husband and all her sons and everybody's martyred and it's just horrible. And her last like grandson, you know, was basically born after Joseph died and he goes crazy and nobody talks about him either. And it's a big mess. So she sees that like Emma's his wife, they're going to be stuck and nobody's going to take care of them and they're women. And she was like, nah, bro, I'm going to expose you a whole bunch. So she wrote a book and she was careful about how she wrote it, but she does this little stuff like this. So I'm going to read this. And she kind of lets out the secret without saying the secret fully. And she's just writing a letter. And this is at the Church History Museum. So anybody that says I'm a liar can go look it up. But it does say this. Let not my readers suppose that because I shall pursue another topic for a season, that we stopped our labor and win it trying to win the faculty of a brack, drawing magic circles, or soothsaying to the neglect of all kinds of business. We never, so she's basically telling in this letter, like, we're not lazy. We're not just doing that. We're doing other stuff too. Oh, okay. She's letting some cats out of the bag with this whole faculty of a brack business. A, it's a very Masonic term, or B, it's a very Gnostic term. Either way you go, we're not talking about Christianity in the regular term. So she knew that would be a problem for Brigham if she put that out there, right? So he ordered all her books burned. They didn't make it like that.
Excuse me.
And it was kind of funny because, you know, eventually it gets published anyway and it gets out there. So yeah. She kind of won in the end. He had to take care of her and send her money and stuff. So I think it was kind of funny. Abracadabra, another thing we get from, you know, a brack. This is considered folk magic. All right. This is what they say it's considered. I'm going to talk to you a little bit more about that. I don't think it was
Abraxas is the, like, is Hank used to, or Hank, Sam used to joke about it's like a chicken snake god, right?
It is.
Yeah. All right, guys.
And he's dualistic. He's neither good nor evil. And also, like I said, the faculty of a brack is a very Masonic term. And it's basically not, it's really not that nefarious, but it isn't Christianity. And it's definitely considered magic when they're hanging people. So, I mean, you have to weigh your chances here, but it's the least of the problems we're going to talk about today.
It's holding the sun like a magic ball. Yeah. So guys, just so for the listeners who don't know, it's two snakes for legs. It's holding the sun in the palm of its hand as like a ball, like a fire, basically a ball of fire, or you could think like a magician holding the ball, rubbing the little ball there. Then he's holding, looks like a whip in one hand, but the head, it's a body of a human, the torso with a head of a chicken.
Yes.
As crazy as that sounds, it's a head of a chicken.
And I do an episode on this for people that do want to dive a little bit deeper into it. And Carl Jung actually does 7 Sermons from the Dead, and he'll break this down really well. And the thing about Abraxas is he calls him, and Charles Manson mentions him too. But it's super interesting. He's kind of a nothing. He's not good. He's not evil. He's just the top. Don't piss him off, basically. They don't want you to pray to him. It's kind of just like respect the process type situation. But yes. And like I said, the faculty of a brack is kind of a little bit different. But like I said, you can go one way or another because we're not in her head. I'm pretty sure it was the Masonic one and also the folk magic-y stuff. But, you know, we have to cover all the bases so that people don't say, no, I think it's this or that. So we know that, you know, Lucy Mack Smith is a lay midwife. I'm sure she's using, you know, whatever she needs to use to help her with that. And, you know, they're Irish anyway. So like, it's not that big of a stretch. Let's be real. So, you know, she's Scottish, husband's Irish. We got a lot going there. So, you know, Joseph, his dad's dad was basically completely not into any religion. Okay. And he just believes that everybody goes to heaven. He's really into Tom Paine and just smart and just like none of this stuff. So he never was a big churchgoer, but you know, Lucy there, her dad's like the mother's dad was a deacon. So yeah, she was more into the whole church business. So he wanted to know what to do. He really didn't know what to do. He was like, what do I go to what church? So he's reading the Bible. And this is the narrative. There's 4 of them, 4 or 5. And it says, one day he was confused and he was reading the Bible and it says, let ye ask of God, you know, if you need an answer. So he goes out into these woods in New York, in Palmyra, because by then they have moved around a bit, and pray. And so he does in the sacred groves. And so also, there are sacred trees that they won't tell us which trees they are. It's a very fun story. Anyway, that goes back to the Golden Bough. And if anybody knows anything about that, but it's a lot. So this story he tells is basically, you know, that a fit of darkness was going to overtake him. And all of a sudden, this big beam of light comes, and God the Father and the Son separately show up and help him intervene on his behalf. And they say, don't join any of the churches we're going to send you some help. And so just watch out for that. Okay. They make it sound super benevolent. He wasn't doing anything. They just popped up, right? Like just that was all. He didn't do anything to get this next guy here. That's a load of crap. So this is their narrative. We're going to go with that for a second. So this angel comes. He's an angel, but he's a dead guy. Dead guys aren't angels because we will never be angels. We'll be like the angels, but we aren't angels, right? And we have to look at what were you doing to make this guy come? Were you just doing nothing? No, he wasn't. He was doing a quarter moon ceremony. We're going to talk about that soon. He was doing some things, and they weren't just folk magic. They were Solomonic magic. Okay. So when we look at all of this, we have to say the church narrative is total BS. They want it to seem like this guy just popped up and he's the guy on top of every temple like this. And this is also very Masonic in nature, as esoteric as well. Like different things with John Dee apply to this. It's just a whole lot. But his story is this guy showed him where the plates were and he was going to try and get them and work for this every year. It took a long time. People just think that angel showed up and gave him the books. No, that's not how it went. It was years. It was like 7 years on his own account. So it wasn't like this was all just so easy. One time, one of my favorite stories is one time he went to go get it and something like a toad popped up. And he was thinking wrong for just 1 second. It told him like not to turn around or something. And he did the wrong thing. And something like a toad popped up and punched him in the face, turned into a man. Sounds crazy, right?
Yes.
But it's very alchemical. Like what exactly is he talking about? Or is this a representation of witchcraft? Because the toad is a witch's familiar. It's also been associated with Baal. So what kind of thing are we talking about? And what did you do to get it here? We're going to talk about that. Because it matters. Context is everything. If an angel just shows up and talks to you, that's one thing, right? Mary wasn't doing anything. She didn't ask for nothing. She was like surprised and scared. But Joseph is doing some stuff to get this angel to talk to him. And that's where the difference comes. We know that these things pierce veils or they wouldn't do them. Magic would have gone away a long time ago if it didn't work. So people that have a hard time with that, I always say, magic wouldn't even be a thing if it didn't work. I mean, we have to look at that. We have to look at what we're doing, and intention is definitely everything. So his brother was the first person that this angel wanted him to bring. Okay. And he wanted him to bring the brother the next year and he would give up these golden plates. Then the brother dies. So we've got a problem because he can't bring the brother and he's worried about it. So instead he takes his new bride. And this family's already been known for treasure digging. They've already been in trouble with all kinds of seer stones, which is what I'm showing you here. There's been a lot. Okay. In fact, he ended up in trouble and had a full court case. And remember, people are actually hanging and killing witches at this point. So don't think they're kind of making it up. Okay. Like, why would you even put yourself in the midst of something that crazy? Right? Like, no, you wouldn't want to. But his neighbor does. And so Willard Chase is talking about this, and they're not just saying like, my friend Susie told Bill, blah. No, these are affidavits, okay, in a court case of what Joseph had been up to for all these years. And the first thing he talks about is this seer stone that apparently he found on his property and wouldn't give it back. So Mormonism is built upon a stolen seer stone rock. He said, it didn't work for you anyways. I'm not giving it back. And so he kept it.
My shit now.
Yeah, exactly. Finders keepers. I think it might have went something. No, I don't know. But regardless, they're into this kind of stuff. And not only that, like I said, they're treasure digging. The account for the treasure digging is what's really interesting. I think I have a diagram of that. And it just shows the depths of what exactly, like why the neighbors kind of went, that's enough of that. Like, you're weird. Stop it. So he's in a treasure digging company, and this is the protection circle that the father drew with his rusty sword. And this is the full account, and it goes into a whole lot more than this. And so when we've got all this together with what we know the neighbors are going to tell us about dressing all in black on the fall equinox, and he has to borrow a black horse from them and something else that was black from the neighbors because he has to go talk to the angel, and it has to be at this certain time on the fall equinox in the middle of the night, like around right after midnight and stuff. It gets weird. What I mean, like, okay, what's happening here? Just like this guy, the dad bled. They like slit a big fat black sheep's throat one time and bled it all around the circle. Like, this is not normal. Okay.
Mhm.
Maybe at your house, but I don't know. I don't know. But like, my biggest thing is with Mormonism is, look, if you want to be a magician, you want to be an atheist, you want to do whatever you want to do, go knock yourself out. I really don't care. I would like to help you, but ultimately we can't help anybody that doesn't want help. So yeah, what are you going to do with that? Nothing. I mean, can't. So I'm not trying to force anybody. I'm just trying to show them so that they are aware, because the Mormon church lies. And that's why I'm mad. I'm like their bad ex-girlfriend that tells their new girlfriend all the dirt because it's stupid. Yeah. And they're harnessing people's energy, and it's bad. And I'll show you what I mean. So that's my big, qualm with it. I'm not against whatever people want to do, as long as you're over, the certain age. You're not hurting dogs, kids, animals. Like, stop that. But other than that, what are you going to do? Can't do anything about it. So when we talk about Joseph, everybody always, thinks he was high or, whatever. Maybe, that was definitely part of those rites and rituals back then. But a big thing that clues us in to what was happening at his house, right, is some of this stuff. And that is the magical relics left behind, which they'll try and say, oh, that's not mine. That's his. That's not ours. That's theirs. Because remember, I said it branched off into a lot of different areas of Mormonism. So nobody wants to claim this stuff. But the great part about it is this is owned by a private collector. Most of this, and this. So they won't sell it. And I think it's fantastic. And the other part that we know is that Joseph Smith carried around this Jupiter talisman. And this Jupiter talisman tells on him. It's the one thing that led me to exactly what he was doing, because I reverse looked it up and it was not hard to find. I've got people coming at me because they're like, you stole my content. I'm like, it's a book. Grow up. It's a book, right? You own the Keys of Solomon is what you're telling me. Okay. So that's what it is. It's the Keys of Solomon. This is Jupiter talisman for a reason, because this is Jupiter seal. And so it was very simple to find. It's right here. It's the third pentacle. And it has something in here, because they all say, well, that was just because people were cursing him. They have an answer for like absolutely everything. And he had to protect himself. And that's why. Well, I'm going to read to you what this seal means. That's not why. It says, this defendeth and protecteth those who invoke and cause the spirits to come. And when they appear, show them this, and they will immediately obey. Well, that's not the same thing, is it? So when we're invoking, right? We're invoking something that we are causing. It literally says it right here. We are causing the spirits to come. And where did he get this anyways, right? What book are you reading, Joseph, that you found all this? Witchcraft books, magic books, the Magus or Ebenezer Sibley's Book of Witchcraft. None of this stuff is normal, just light reading on the shelf. No,
Right.
Lies. So, it leads us a little bit further. Then we see this one. This is the Atame of his father. Why do I know it's his father's? Because it's his sign. It's his sun sign. It's his astronomical lineup, all the whole things. It's all very personal. Like, you can't just say, oh, it's his. Like, no, that doesn't work. That's not his birthday and all the things. Like, it's very laid out. You can't just do that. And so this sign was definitely his father's, and we believe this was passed down. And so engraven on it is, you know, the different signs, Capricorn and Mars and all this stuff. And, you know, there's also like one that says the intelligence of Mars, and intelligence, just so people know, you know, that's like demon. That's like a lower level of entity.
Okay.
Not a demon, like a scary demon, like not like that, but like everything's in a hierarchy. So like archangels, if you're channeling something, people read the books. John Dee wrote about it. He'll tell you. Aleister Crowley wrote about it. He'll tell you. Joseph Smith wrote about it. He didn't tell us. He died. But all these people will tell you like, oh, I thought they were angels and they were doing so great and they were telling me all the good things, and I wrote a book and then found out, you know, they want me to sleep with my friend's wife and have 100 wives and all this weird stuff. Like even Muhammad, same thing, same story. It's always the same story. And the only one that probably wasn't really bothered about it was Crowley, because he was already doing the things. He didn't care. He's like, sounds fun. Okay, you want me to do that? That's cool. Babylon Workings, same thing. What do we get out of it? Scientology. Like, come on, every single time we have these things show up and they're like, we're these great people, but also we want to watch you bang your friend's wife. Like, what? No, that's not God. Like, hold on a minute. What part of that little phase right there, even if you're John Dee, who was benevolent and like pious and all this stuff, where he didn't go, hold on a second. What?
Right.
That's what I would do. I would be like, no.
Wait, is that Scientology watching that you're talking about? Watching you bang your friend's wife, or he said
The Babylon Workings was worse. They had to help each
okay.
other with each other. They were just two guys and no wives were.
I want to know more. I'm just curious more about Scientology as well. Do you know about Scientology? I mean, obviously you weren't, you know,
I mean,
not your
I
thing
know.
as much as Mormonism, but
I know
It's
about
similar in
Xenu.
a way, right?
Yeah, it's all about, you know, if you read Steiner, if you know about Scientology, if you know about Mormonism, it's all basically the same thing. John Dee, same thing. It's
Okay.
extra dimensionals, right? They're not in this realm, and they're talking to you because you probably made them, because you did something weird. And trust me, the Babylon Workings was weird. Parsons and Hubbard jacking each other off out in the desert. That's what that is.
Yeah.
And it gets more than that, but that's the basic. And you know, these things appear all the time, and it's sex magic. You know, we know that all of these people had to pay a price. Like Muhammad all of a sudden gets child brides and starts marrying like hundreds of people, and then Joseph Smith starts marrying hundreds of people and he marries like a young girl, and then we get, you know, L. Ron Hubbard, and he gets really weird. And we get John Dee, and actually they did swap wives, and he had to raise this other guy's kid for the rest of his life. Like, their lives are always ruined, and they always say, I wish I never did it. Even Crowley said Awas lies, and I don't like him anymore, basically, with the Book of the Law. And so at the end of it, all of it, just know this. Angels can be sent from God. They are militant. They will deliver a message. They don't care about you. Actually, they don't even like you. They have to do what they have to do because their dad told them to do it. So they have to do it. It's kind of like taking care of your younger brother or sister. You know, you love them, but you hate them, and you'll do it, I guess, but you're not happy about it when you're young, you know, and that's what they do. But they don't like hang around and talk to you every night. Like, no, that's not happening. And they're really high up, you know, they're way up there. Whereas Steiner talks about the different realms, and he's like, no, probably if you're talking to yourself, it's probably way down here, you know, where you can pierce the veil with these weird things you're doing with sheep and stuff, and sex magic and blood and all this weird stuff. Like, why would an angel, a real one, want you to do that? That doesn't make any sense. And so nobody's using their minds fully. No. So I'm like, well, all right. They still get talked into it. Whichever way we play with that, we still ended up here, and people still do magic. And if they like it, that's fine on them. I don't want demons on me, so I'm good, you know? And everybody can choose for themselves. Like, that's fine. But they at least should be in the know. That's very unfair. I was a Freemason. I didn't know what a Freemason was at all. I had Freemason symbols on my nipples, and I didn't know what one was. That's crazy. That's crazy. Like, fully, I will admit that's some crazy cult crap. Like, I didn't know that. You know, nobody told me that. Just my grandma wears them, and my great grandma wears them, and all her grandmas. Like, what do you mean that's what? What's a Freemason? I didn't know that. Nobody told you crap. That's very unfair. So
Mhm.
And then
Try to
once you
educate
realize what
yourself.
some of the symbolisms are, you see them everywhere, and you're like, "Holy shit! That's been in front of me my whole life. I just never saw it."
on cookies and all kinds of wacko crap.
Like
Yes.
like even the pedo
Oreos.
symbol on
Oreos.
every kid symbol, like the little swirly thing. I mean, it's
Mhm.
pretty
bad.
much this. It's the symbol
We're
for
gonna-
Moana. It's a symbol for
They have a
Wow.
everything.
yeah, they have the
It's
symbol all over
actually
Disney
it's a
World.
sigil. It's a sigil. I'm going to show you it today. It's actually more than that. They made it
Okay.
into that. That's a lie too. It's witchcraft, and I'll show you. And it comes up in about a minute. And so
All right,
yeah,
see,
all this stuff. And that's the
Segue.
thing. Yeah, all these symbols you guys can look up. I don't like to be a gatekeeper. You can look them up. See, I put the book there, Barrett, 1801, the whole deal. I'm not word for word repeating this weird guy that keeps saying I'm so pretty and I don't read books. Like, I'm serious. Like, what? Like, he's like, you're stealing my content. I'm like, it's a book, you moron. That's why
Mm.
it's word for
Yeah,
word.
open to anyone. You know, it's open
Yeah,
access.
I guess I don't read books because I'm pretty, though. I'm just letting you know. So yeah,
You having
that's-
someone read them for you?
oh my gosh, and it's so bad. Like, I just am like, wow, this is a new one. Okay, cool. Put that on the list. And I wouldn't even care, except he likes to report my channel because I'm a plagiarist. But actually, this is how he says it. Heidi Love is a pleasurist, and I'm like, well, not for you.
What an
I'm
That's
like,
funny.
you're not that lucky. He's
What a
weird. I don't
jerk.
know.
Oh,
Yeah. So
Okay.
I like to tell people where they really can find this stuff. And really, we're talking about the Keys of Solomon. We're talking about Zoroastrianism. We're talking about Babylon. We're talking about all that. And so, all of this comes, and I've actually got it decoded down at the bottom here. All the books are right there, color coded, and people can look at this. This is one of the Smith family parchments, and it's flat out telling you what they're doing. Okay. I see no Christian books there at all. I see the Magus, the Discovery of Witchcraft, Occult Sciences, and also Sloane's MS Liber Officium Spiritum. There's no Bible. Like, this isn't, this is not that. So I don't know what he's doing. If he's like talking to angels and stuff, like, what are you doing? Why are you studying that then? You're tapped in. You can call God, Why
right.
do you dumb paper? You don't. So he's lying, but whatever. And I think he knew. Like, he definitely knew, because this stuff is deep. This stuff is way deep. And so surface level today, we can get into it more. But like I said, he has a lot of hidden knowledge. And all of this stuff is telling you, like, exactly what he's into and what he's doing with it. And, the spiral that you mentioned,
Mhm.
this is the other parchment he had. You'll notice it goes in the spiral to
Yeah.
the symbol, and it's locked, which means he's forcing whatever this is on the other side to do what he says. If it's open, like this one down here, this is also an esoteric being. It's actually also a Masonic handshake, but whatever. Juban Ladace, John D talks about it. That one is open. It doesn't have the seal because he's working with that in an open relationship. Like, he doesn't have to force it to come. It's doing it on its own. This in the middle is a seal. The seals, you have to do what you're told. And then around it, everybody's going to go, oh, but he's talking about Jesus because he's got all these Jesus names. Hold on. Not so fast. Yes, Jehovah is all over this. There's also Maltese cross on this. And they're not dumb. They know how to protect themselves. And that's what he's trying to do with this. Okay. So nothing is fully evil on this. Nothing is fully benevolent. It's just not Christian. That's all. That's my biggest thing. It's Masonic and occult and witchcraft, and he can do what he wants. Anyway, he did till he was dead. But, like, I don't care. I just think that it's interesting that the Mormon Church likes to say, no, we're just Christians, we're just like you. We're just like you, because we believe it. All of the Mormons in the middle, 110% believe that. All the grandmas, all the nice neighbors, everybody that that's ever been a Mormon, the nice people don't know anything about this. Nothing. Not even
Yeah,
about
I mean, Raj, Bryn is Mormon. Bryn Britt Bischoff from Utah. She's like the sweetest girl ever. Like,
Right.
she's
Probably
like,
just goes
she's
with
a
the flow type of person.
yeah,
Yeah.
college. She went to BYU, college golfer. I had her on my golf podcast, but sweet girl. And like, I can't picture her knowing any of this.
No,
Evil
she doesn't know
witchcraft
this.
stuff. No,
No.
of course not.
No. No, and my grandma didn't know this. Like, come on. Well, maybe
Yeah.
I think maybe my grandma did. I take it back.
I feel like the older generations may know, but not
I
like the
think she
younger.
did.
You know.
Yeah, well, it all goes to this different it's levels. You know, there's 2 levels. Well, there's 3, and I'll show you what they are here coming up. But yes, some of them do know, and then even the ones that do know still think it's just like the Xenu thing. Like they're like, but that's God, and so it's okay because he's God and stuff. Like you're gonna justify it because you're trapped in a corner. And even the prophets used to say, yeah, their Jesus, the Christian Jesus, isn't our Jesus. You're right. Because they don't even believe in the Trinity. They believe in 3 separate. So, ultimately, I believe it all goes back to goddess worship, but that's my thoughts on it. But
So
I'm
you went
probably
went over it back to. Did you convert to Christianity after you?
I am.
Yep.
I'm a non-denominational Christian that's scared to death to go to any church.
Okay.
Yeah.
Because fool me once.
I could dig it.
Right. Right.
Yeah. Not going to get fooled again. Right. Like another Skull and Bones member said. Okay. And I mean, the thing about it is like, I just think that people need to know so that the regular Mormons can know this stuff. And then if they still want to go and do all the things and they don't care, fine. I don't care. I don't care either.
But
Like,
at least you're
I mean,
exposing it.
yeah, be honest. Just be honest. What are they doing? They're telling us some crazy story that, it's all benevolent. And meanwhile, we have people dressing up like this in the Masonic order that I believe that they're affiliated with. I do not believe they're Scottish Rite Freemasons originally. Do I think they are now? Sure. But originally, though, not so much, because Martinism is way older. And before the Martinists get mad at me, look, it just makes sense because the Martinists do real magic still. They're practitioners of magic. Am I saying they hurt anybody? No, not like that. I'm just saying that on the fall equinox and the spring equinox, they believe that they can summon things to come here. And that's what he did on the fall equinox. So I just went 2 + 2, and that's my conjecture. Can I prove it? No. But I'm just saying, like, it makes a heck of a lot more sense. And we know that Joseph was risen to a master Mason overnight. He went to the lodge and, well, I don't even know if he 100% went or somebody went on his behalf, but they rose him to a master Mason overnight. So,
Heidi's going deep here tonight, boys.
It's going to get weird.
Got me chat GPT my ass off trying to figure out who some of these people are. That's what, I'm like speechless today. I'm like, shit, I don't know who the Martin is. I gotta look this up.
I already got 2 things of notes so I can look up later.
So I do shows on Martinists. I do shows on the University of Utah's Skull and Bones, which we're going to talk about now. I do a whole bunch. And the best place for people to start is probably episode 172. It's the basic breakdown. Or if they're catching it here, clearly you've already probably got enough knowledge. And then you can go through, and I've tried to categorize my podcast because I have ADHD and people are complaining and they're like, well, you're all over. And I'm like, yeah, well, valid. So I started doing, instead of just unfiltered rise at the beginning of the title, they now say unfiltered Mormonism, unfiltered Christianity, unfiltered history.
There you go.
So
yeah.
I hope that helps, and I won't drive everyone crazy. And hopefully, I mean a little. And we have to talk about some of this. I have an episode already done. It's in editing where we went deep on this, and this one's crazy. So I want people to know that Joseph Smith, you guys know about Skull and Bones and who set it up, right?
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah.
Okay.
It was started in Yale, right?
With Huntington Russell.
University.
Yep.
Yep.
Mm-hmm. Yep. And that's Joseph Smith's fifth cousin.
Oh shit.
Are we there now? Yeah.
Yeah.
Right. Not only him, but the Rockefellers are also.
The secret society. Whoa.
So the University of Utah is the only place in all of America, and I dare say the world, that ever had sanctioned actual Skull and Bones members come from there and set up this one. This is an outreach program, literally. And we kind of think we know who it is, but we can't prove it. It's going to be on that episode, and we talk about it. But this was sanctioned by alma mater. They came here and set this up. Why? Because it's their family. It's their family. And, we've got Ezra Taft Benson, who served as a prophet, right? Huntington, Taft Russell, whatever, all this.
Yeah.
So I'm just saying, when you look at the names, it busts them every single time. If you put in, was Joseph Smith related to Bill Gates? It'll say, nope. Go in and put in, was Lydia Gates related to Daniel Deacon Gates? Yes. Is Bill Gates related to Daniel Deacon Gates? Yes.
Oh, there you go.
So it gets hard, but like you can figure it out if you get good at that.
It
And
makes you
that's
work
what I
for
do.
it.
Yes.
course.
Never just give it to you. And then I cross check it with the genealogical websites and a whole bunch of stuff, because I don't want to just like throw crap out there. So back to Skull and Bones, they are related. They are actually like exactly the same. And the last prophet that just died before Dallin H. Oaks, this was him, Russell M. Nelson. He was in Skull and Bones. Now, sort of. This also gets weird. They set up a thing called Allen Key. And over at the other Skull and Bones, it's like Scroll and Key. Okay. So it's similar. And they're like, it's just a good honor society. Okay. Yeah. Tell yourself that. He was a heart surgeon. He's super smart. He's dead now, but like he lived till 101. So he couldn't complain really. But he was definitely in the club. Now, some people say he wasn't in Skull and Bones because there's like this whole, he wasn't in the picture for Skull and Bones the year before, because you do that in your junior year. It's a lot of controversy. I think he was under the age of 21 at that point, because he was like a seriously smart person that went super early. And back then, before 21, you weren't a real adult. So I don't know. I don't know why he wasn't in the stupid picture. In his autobiography, he says he was in it. I don't know. But he definitely was in the Allen Key. And so whatever. He's in the secret society regardless. So this is the prophet. You know, this is the real prophet, seer, and revelator of the church. He talks to God. Well, not now. I mean, I don't know if he made it. I don't know. But whatever.
He's in
Right?
still in purgatory.
Right. I don't know. Not my place, but he's basically, we believe as Mormons that there is like a direct phone call to God. Like he can wake up in the middle of the night and just talk to God, period. All the
Wow.
time, whenever he wants. And so, yeah, that's a little hard to reconcile in your brain, you know, like, that's weird. Okay. Worse with Dallin H. Oaks, in my opinion, even though Rusty had some very bad skeletons in his closet with child stuff, because his daughter got deep shit for it, and people can look that up. LDS Abuse does a lot of work on that, and he's really great about it. But yeah, that was his little scandalous life. It was bad enough. Dallin H. Oaks is 3-letter agency all day long and was electrocuting gay people to ungay them and all kinds of weird stuff. That's the current prophet. Okay. Does that sound benevolent to you? Like he's talking to God? I'm just saying.
No.
Talking to somebody ain't God though.
Maybe it's, I mean, look, they say they believe in God, but nobody asked him who their God was, per se. You know,
He's talking to his 70-year-old buddy at the end of the bar who's old school as shit.
Right.
That's what he's talking.
Well,
He's talking to
say when
something.
you pray, they say when you pray that demons and angels listen at the same time. So
Yes.
whoever answers your prayer, you don't really know.
Yeah, you have to be very direct with your stuff too. And even then, right? Like, who knows? You know, I mean, it gets a little weird, like I said, and it gets a lot weirder. So this is for the baptisms of the dead. So we're going to talk about the rites that Mormons do when you are a Mormon, and this one you do when you're a kid. So all of a sudden, like I said, Joseph Smith, he's got all this weird stuff, and he's practicing Solomonic magic, and he's talking to angels, and he writes the book and all the things. And they dug up the dead brother. I did forget that. Let's talk about that really quick because it's kind of fun. And they said, okay, we don't have the dead brother. Like, what do we do? And then everybody, for some weird reason, they don't know why, they're just persecuted. That's their favorite thing to say, is they just persecute us all the time and we don't do anything. And I'm like, well, I mean, you were kind of stealing everybody's wives and stuff too, you know. Maybe that, but they did run. Yeah, they ran this article in the paper. I'm going to find it while we chat. And they ran it 6 times. And it basically, in the synopsis, says, we're going to dig up our dead brother because you guys said we dug him up, but we didn't dig him up. And we're going to prove that we didn't dig him up because we're going to dig him up and show you. Okay. that's weird. That got weird. And they ran it a lot, and it's a real paper. And so, yeah, everybody jokes that, maybe his brother had a hand in Mormonism. We don't know. I do know this. That was the oldest son that died. If you're going to give us something, a Faustian type organ, the oldest son usually is the thing they want. Funny enough, right? Yeah. Right after Joseph Smith gets the plates, what he wanted so badly. Remember, his wife went, they just were newly married. They got pregnant right after that. She had a son. They named it the dead brother's name. And he was so severely disfigured that he died almost instantaneously, is what they say. You don't want to know what I think about that, because if you look into what they do to firstborns, it's really bad. And I don't want to think that. So we're just going to go with the fact that it was disfigured on its own instead of it became disfigured. And it died. So we have two firstborn sons, one for each, gone. Okay. And then he gets what he wants. And he's like super popular and gets all the things. And even he ends up, do you guys know about like the anti-Mason movement and all that stuff?
Mike might. Florida Mike.
The anti-Mason movement? No, I don't.
No,
And
I
William
don't know.
Morgan.
I've looked, but I can't find nothing.
Okay, so the William Morgan affair, it was a big deal, and even that touches Joseph. Like he marries the widow of William Morgan, and it's a whole thing. So it gets interesting, and she becomes a Mormon, just FYI, and she legally marries somebody else because of course she can't go on record being I don't even know what he would, not a bigamist, however many it was, I don't know. But yeah, multiple marriages. So polygamous, we'll just say that. Anyways, he's involved in that. He's talking to the president. I mean, but he's a dumb farm boy that nobody knows. Don't worry about it. And he just like went down and talked to the president one time and the Congress, and no big deal. And he was going to run for president before he got thrown out a window. I mean, he probably jumped, is what they said, but I don't know.
Oh yeah.
He made the widow's sign before he left. Whatever. Sorry, I gotta move my feet. That is not what you think it was. My footstool. So yeah, this whole thing gets weird and weirder and weirder. So the rites that get put in place are very Masonic, but also they're very esoteric. So they have a leaning both ways. And what they start doing is they start doing baptisms for the dead. And when I say that, I mean like actual dead people. And you don't just say, oh, we're going to baptize this dead person in our thoughts or like fake water drop. No. We get the kids that are like 12 to 14 and we say, today you are, let me find the best name. You are this person and you're going to be baptized for them today. And you take on that name, that you are that person for that day. And you might do 6, 7, 8 of them. This is one they did. I like this one. This one's fun. So someday somebody went to the temple on, the 6th of March, 1996, and they got this name. I mean, if I got this name, I think I'd feel weird about it. But, they did Hitler.
The lowest Hitler.
Wow.
Yeah, they did Obama's mom. They did all the people. They do all the people.
Good Lord.
Elvis. It doesn't matter if you want it or not. Probably all your family, all my family, everybody. They got all the names. Don't worry. I know that for a fact.
No kidding.
Why do I know that? Because Nazis. We'll talk about it. But yes, you do this for dead people. After the first time you're baptized for yourself, that's it. Then after that, you get baptized for the dead people if you want to. And same thing for your Mormon temple rites, which the first time you do it for yourself. And every time after that, you do it for dead people. And if you've known anyone that served a mission, if you know anyone that's been married in the temple, they did do this stuff. It is weird and it's going to get weird. And it used to be weirder. My great grandma told me to stop my sniveling because you have to get naked and wear this poncho thing. And then they bless you, but not in a weird sexual way, but they like touch you above your chest and stuff and weird stuff. But it made me uncomfortable. But then my great grandma was like, I don't know why you're crying baby in it. I was naked in a bathtub being scrubbed with oil. I mean, guess it was a Diddy thing. I don't know. But yeah, it's evolved. It's definitely evolved. So we don't do anymore in the temple the slitting of the throat deal. I think that's just for the MMA now, right? They did though. So whatever. They're doing all this weird stuff and they do it for themselves and then they do it for dead people as well. So that's why the temples exist, literally, just to do work for the dead. All these dead people are just sitting there kind of in limbo. And it's up to you. You are the one. You have to save them. And it is your job. And you need to get your butt to that temple and do all your genealogy and do all the things so you can get all the names and send them and go do their temple work. You're a bad person if you don't. Just letting you know. Yeah. So these aprons are green. It's just a bad picture. And you raise your hand to the square and you do the true order of prayer and start chanting and a whole bunch of stuff. It's like 2 hours long. So I'm going to show you a little clip and I'm going to turn this down first because it's super loud. And this is a reenactment. And some things have changed because things apparently change, even if God tells you what to do. Because somebody got uncomfortable. I don't think it should change probably, but whatever. Here we go. I'll let you know the fake parts. I'm going to stop it right as soon as I push play and make sure you can hear it okay. Can you hear it? Can you hear spooky music at all?
No.
Not yet.
Uh-oh.
No.
I don't even
Oh,
see
let
it
me try.
playing though. Hit play or it's
Could you hear that?
Turn it up
Yeah,
a
no
little bit.
sound.
no.
Okay. No sound? Okay. I think I have to go back on the share and do like, sometimes it doesn't choose the audio. Even though I pushed it, it doesn't. Sometimes we might have to remove and do like a reshare really quickly. It's going to be
Okay.
weird forever. Yep. So we'll do the stop screen share and then I'm just going to screen share.
That's
And
fine.
hopefully it will do it because this video is actually pretty crazy and it helps people understand exactly some of what's going on. All right, we're gonna make sure and push this. It does say share audio. Okay, let's hope that will work. It's gonna go weird
Oh.
Windows forever. Just give me 2 seconds and we'll have it pulled up. Okay, can you see that okay?
Yep,
You
and
see
there's
that?
the music.
There's
Yep,
the
we can
music
hear it.
too, yeah.
All right,
We can hear it.
I'm gonna turn it down just a little bit. Super loud. Okay.
What you are seeing is an authentic first-time ever on film reenactment of secret Mormon temple ceremonies that even most Mormons have never seen. And those who have sworn never to reveal these secrets under penalty of death.
The execution of the penalty is represented by placing the right thumb under the left ear, drawing the thumb quickly across the throat to the right ear, and dropping the hand to the side.
All of us who've been through the temple have sworn solemn oaths consenting to having our throat slit and our heart and our vitals torn out.
The execution of the penalty is represented by drawing the thumb quickly across the body and dropping the hands to the side.
In the Mormon temple marriage, the partners are sealed to each other for time and all eternity in Mason-like rituals. And without this ceremony, no one can enter the presence of Joseph Smith and become a god.
They look real happy.
Lay ale. Brother Pratt, having authority, I wash you preparatory to receiving your anointings for and in behalf of John Kimball, who is dead, that you may become clean from the blood and sins of this generation.
Sister Bradford, I wash you preparatory to you receiving your anointings for and behalf of
Eliza Barrett.
Eliza Barrett, who is dead, that you may become clean from the blood and sins of this generation.
I wash your head, that your brain and intellect may become clear and active.
Your eyes, that you may see clearly and discern between truth and error.
Thousands of occultic ceremonies each day are performed for the dead, so that they too can receive the benefits of
Super
Mormonism.
creepy.
Mormons are encouraged to have encounters with the dead, and it's not uncommon for demons impersonating the dead to appear to Mormons stating that they've been converted to the Mormon church in the spirit world and now want their family history traced.
Your loins, that you may be fruitful and multiply and replenish the earth, that you may have joy in your posterity.
Your vitals and bowels, that they may be strong and healthy and perform their proper function.
Your breast, that it may be the receptacle of pure and virtuous principles.
Okay.
Real,
So
before I forget, they said at one point demons impersonating.
well, so remember, this is a reenactment, but I do believe that same thing.
Okay.
I don't know that they encourage it, but they're talking about spiritual visitation. So it sounds a lot scarier the way they put it, and they definitely don't grab your boob. Like, I like to clarify stuff because it's good enough. You don't need to make it weird. Like, it's already weird. It's weird.
Right.
So we don't need to do that. Nowadays, I guess you don't get the weird poncho anymore and you're naked underneath there. You get like a baptism suit, and no longer do you swear you're going to slit your throat, spill your vital organs and whatnot.
Right.
Yeah. So they make changes because people go, well, that was weird. Yep. That's exactly how I felt. I was like, yep, get me out of here. But I couldn't leave, right? My whole family's there. It's like, what are you
Right.
going to do? So they still do this. Is called the True Order of Prayer. Fun fact, just for everybody, especially since you have a Mormon friend, if she ever says, I'll put your name on the temple list, that's like their way of praying for you, kind of. They're going to do this around a book with your name in it and chant and do all the weird stuff. So, it's up to you. I just say, thank you. No, that's what I do now. I'm like, a regular prayer will work just fine. I would love that. Just normal. Yep. No temple list. So, no. If you notice the hand here on this, and then you come here to Typhonian magic, chaos magic, you see the hand? Just saying. This is old and way older than Crowley. This is Crowley coined this one, but honestly, it wasn't Crowley either, right? It was way older.
Is it making that hand symbol?
It's kind of making
Yes.
the Templar cross too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's and guess what? The Y
Okay.
is the sign for BYU. Fun times.
Right.
Yep. And they do the almost same thing for the U, but they make it more of a square, and they do some really weird stuff at games called charging the house. Yeah, that's what they call it. And they come out at halftime and they make it all fun and they do these things. And my son was like, yeah, I just didn't want to do that stuff, Mom. That seemed really weird. I was like, good call.
Are you a sports fan?
Yes. I like
All
certain sports, hockey,
Okay.
football, MMA.
So I'm a big Miami Hurricanes fan, and you keep saying the U, and the U in my head
Oh.
is the Miami Hurricanes. So I'm like, oh man, I gotta
Sorry.
keep referencing.
Yes,
So
University
your
of
guys,
Utah.
your guys use like this. Ours is like that. That's the
Yeah,
difference.
we do the U is University of Utah here, and BYU is just BYU. But all this stuff matters. People can say this is hokey and it doesn't matter anyway, and who even cares? And that's stupid. And I'm like, right, because magic doesn't work, and nobody should be doing weird hokey pokey stuff anymore, anyways, because it doesn't work. Right? Right. So why are we
Still
doing it?
it? Still doing it.
Right. Because it works. It just doesn't work for you because you're in the middle and you're not the upper echelon, and they're just stealing your loosh all day long when you're in there. They're just taking it and all this
Loose
stuff you're
jacking.
doing. Yep. And then you're getting all the bad parts of it because you're taking on the weird names of dead people and who even knows. Yeah, I never was more sick, sad, desperate, whatever, feeling awful about myself as I was when I was a Mormon. Maybe that was just my experience. Maybe it was demons. I don't know. And I don't want to find out again. I'm good. Done with it. My
Right.
life was so hard and challenging then. Before 37, I'd had cancer already, all kinds of crazy stuff. And people say it's
Stress.
probably because she just got thrown out of the church because she wanted to drink coffee or something. I'm like, guess what, dum-dums? No, I'm still on the dumb church roster because they won't chuck me out. I've got to go chuck myself out. I just assume they'd knock on the door by now and be like, hey, you're dumb. Stop it. Get out of here. But they
Right.
never have. Why didn't they? They chuck out every other person I've ever known that speaks out ever. Even some people that really believe in it, and they chuck them out over just the smallest stuff. And here I am.
Still
Okay.
you never got the call to where
I am
you're out?
currently an LDS member on their dumb rolls. I'm going to have to chuck
Wow.
myself out. It is the last thing. And I just assumed that they really, I mean, come on. I mean, my neighbors know, like people know.
Right.
No,
Do you think it's
So-
because of your family
My-
tradition?
it's my bloodline for
Yeah.
sure. It's my bloodline. I'm like, there's no way that they chuck everybody else out and just leave me in for no reason. That doesn't make any sense when I'm in the hub and I've known people clear in Tennessee getting chucked out.
Right.
What's going on there? That's stupid. So I guess I'm just gonna have to do it. It's a whole thing. You have to get like a affidavit, an attorney thing, and submit it. They won't just take it off. You can't just call and be like, take it off. No, it's a thing. So I'm gonna have to do the thing because it's stupid and they won't throw me out. Plus, I wanted my like moment because I was definitely gonna wear the Google glasses. But that's
Waiting
okay.
for it. Yeah. Waiting for
I
the knock on the
know.
door.
I really was. And I'm like, what's happening here? Like, you guys are silly. But yeah, I mean, whatever. So I guess I'm going to have to do it myself. But it is the last tie. But no, it wasn't any of those things. And it wasn't because I had some horrible experience with the church. Like, they'll say stuff like that. Oh, you can leave the church, but you just can't leave it alone. I'm like, okay, good. Yeah, great. But you know, people should at least know what they're getting into, right? That's
Right.
fair. And then you get so after the little naked stuff I showed you and they're blessing your loins and all the stuff, then you get your new underwear, which everybody knows about. That's like the only part that everybody seems to know about. You get your Masonic underwear. And I'm not kidding. They literally have a compass and a square and a ruler and another
I was
ruler.
gonna say
on
that
them.
looks like a Masonic symbol, right?
Yeah.
Right there.
It definitely is.
Yeah.
100%.
100%.
And what's it over? Openings, right? Nipples are openings, belly button's an opening. A little weird.
Yeah.
Your knee, like
Nope.
that's not an opening. So, but they used to gash you open. So maybe it was, right?
Sheesh.
Mm.
So yeah, they used to gash you open when you were like kneeling, and then you would go home and sew up on the garment, the gash, and then that's where the line would be. But the women started joining up and they're like, I'm not letting you slice my boobs and like my leg and all the things. No, we're not doing that. So they stopped and they started just sewing them in, which is way smarter. So, I mean, less
Jeez.
bloody. I don't know. Probably doesn't work as good. Who knows?
Fun.
Yeah. So here's the evolution from the early years where they look more like Messianic Jews. They wear like a certain thing and it hangs down the side. This is very similar. And then as the years go through, it changes and it's very like a t-shirt and basically boxer shorts, but even for women, basically boxer shorts as well. They are like a tank top now. And that I never thought I would live to see the day. And they even have a dress one for dresses, which they never had before. So this
Damn.
is kind of what the dress one looks like, which is good because, you know, it's not good for you to always be contained so much. You're supposed to always wear these next to your skin, even under your bra. Like it's supposed to touch your skin first. You should always wear them. You have many pairs of these, like underwear. And, you know, you shouldn't take them off unless you're like swimming or at the gym or making more Mormons. Lots of people do a lot of that. They have a lot of kids. But you should put them back on right after. So bathing, clearly. So they used to leave one foot and one arm in. I remember my great grandma doing this, but they don't do that anymore. And you have to take them off like right hand in first, right hand. It's like a whole thing. So yeah. And
Wow.
why do I call it a cult? Because you swear an oath and you wear weird underwear. And yeah, if they control your
giveaway.
underwear, I mean, it's a thing. Yep. Handshakes, there's handshakes involved. You know, it's all the things. So
Wow.
basically that's like a quick and dirt, like this is like the most basic of like the temple rites. There's a higher level actually where you get the second anointing, which is why they needed the Native Americans there when they did on that show you watched. Because if they accidentally were to kill someone that was an innocent, which is only a child underneath the age of 8, no one else is innocent ever. Because like you just aren't. You sin and you're responsible after the age of 8. And so that's why they took the Native Americans so that it wouldn't ruin their place, where they say making your place made sure on earth. And that involves a higher level where you have to actually like meet one of the quorum and they come and wash your feet. And it's a whole thing. And it used to be that the women would grow, well, in polygamy, they still do it. So they grow their hair really long and then they can wash their husband's feet with it. And so, but, and it's a sin to cut your hair. Yeah, it's a sin to cut
Did
your
you
hair
say-
in that religion.
Did you just say
Yeah.
wash our men's feet with their long hair?
Yeah, they grow their hair long enough to wash your feet. It's freaking wild.
Yep. Yep. And you're going to wash Jesus's feet with it too. So it's a
Yeah,
sin.
we do that in the Catholic Church, the washing of the feet and stuff, but not with the long hair. That's crazy.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. And so all of this stuff has changed. Like that's the fundamentalists, the regular Mormons, mainstream Mormons don't do that. This was a weird fun fact. After Joseph Smith died, he died with his brother Hiram. And they did dig them up too. They like digging people up, you know, a lot of necromancy up in here. So they dug them up and they got this oak that they'd been rotting in for a little minute and bleeding and all the things, nasty stuff, because you're not embalming people back then. And then they made these cool canes out of it because they thought that would be a good idea. And of course, they're called the black sticks because, I mean,
Made out of bones, they made them?
they made them out of the dead juice coffin. Yeah,
Gotcha.
it's all nasty. And then they cut their hair and put that in the knob. So,
Oh, yeah. You see that in movies and stuff sometimes, yeah.
oh yeah, yeah. And so these are and they made actually the oak canes, like I said, presented him to the new prophet, and yeah, with the hair and everything in there. And the wife also took some hair and wore it till the day she died. So this is
Smell
also
like
Joseph
feet.
Smith's, right? Probably Angelina Jolie stuff there. Better than the blood, but still. This was Joseph Smith's cane, serpent cane, much like Moses, but also there, you know, you can go back and forth. Is there an upside down cross on this? Is it St. Peter? Is it something else? Is it a shield? Is it, I don't know. You know, it's very Masonic regardless.
Looks like a key almost.
And then this looks like an owl. If you look really close here. So, you know, there's a lot going on here. The Minerva level probably, but
The owls. There's a lot of worship to owls. There's a
oh,
lot of dark
100%.
worship to owls.
because Illuminati is always on the owls.
We're
And
bringing
so, yep, all the people
Calif-
with all the things.
California is shaped like an owl.
It's very, very, very interesting. And we also know that at some point, the Catholic Church, I mean, early on, the Rothschilds bailed out the Mormon Church. Okay. And then later on, they bailed out the Catholic Church. And so eventually, which has never been done before, in 2019, they allowed the Mormons to build their temple right down the street from the Vatican, which was in no way Jose before that, right? Like,
Sure.
But eventually they did allow it. And in 2019, it was completed. And this is the picture that they took while he's holding the keys of the kingdom. It's kind of fun. It's kind of fun if you know about Rosicrucians and Templars and stuff. There's a lot going on at the top level. But like I said, the normal people, no way do they know this stuff. And so they might know about the temple. That's about all. So long story short, David M. Kennedy is the one that bailed out the Catholic Church later. Who was his banker? Sindona. David M. Kennedy's a Mormon. His banker Sindona, who's Onassis's banker, who's also the Nazi banker, and also the Vatican banker. So, you know, they're all John Birchers. And, yeah, it's all a big deal. Also, they did have.
They're one of the 13, correct?
Yep.
I'm Cindy fan. Yep.
So they say. Yep. And so,
Allegedly.
you know, you always allegedly. Fritz
Right.
Springmeier's a kook is what they're going to tell you because he robbed a bank. Can a bank robber still not be crazy? Yeah. Maybe he was just poor. Maybe he was set up. I don't really know. But I do know after that book, he really got nailed. So who knows? This is always fun.
I was gonna say Steve Young was a Mormon, right? The
He played
quarterback.
BYU. Yeah.
Yep. And you know, if they served a mission, they definitely did the temple stuff. Don't forget that. And if he probably did, because every young man is called to serve at the age of 19 back then and the age of 18 now. So 2 years away from your family, serving a mission wherever they send you, and you pay for it, just so you know.
Yeah, that's crazy.
No contact with women. It's like a priest. It's really, yeah. And every
Yeah, for 2
time
years.
find somebody like that's very important, like Howard Hughes or Elon Musk or somebody, they always have a Mormon as their financial guy every time. So Elon Musk, please meet Jared Birchall. Jared Birchall is his number one financial guy. He's a Mormon. Bet your ass he is. So it's always like this. It's always like this.
Can you imagine
And
doing the books
why-
for Musk?
Oh, fixing
No.
them? Yeah, it's a problem.
Yeah, right. That's true.
That's a problem. How are you going to write off all this ketamine? Oh, no, not that.
Right?
Okay.
Yeah.
I don't know what's happening with him, but we definitely know a lot. And you know, they kind of let the cat out of the bag. I always say, you know, they're the Church of Mammon. Mammon sigil, money, Mormon money magic. This is the priesthood symbol for the Mormon men, and this is the sigil of Mammon from the Keys of Solomon. They are almost identically the same. Big surprise, except this little sigil in the middle. But what did they do? They put a circle there. Could it represent something? Sure it could.
Keeping them
You
in.
know, yeah, we're the Beehive State too. Just so people know, what did they almost name the Illuminati? Does anybody know this answer?
No.
Mm-mm.
The Perfectibilis, or the bees.
Okay.
Really?
These symbols are on the outside of the Nauvoo temple. We have the upside down pentagram and pentacle. You know, and
Oh,
people will say this
shit.
is demonic. Well, I lean more to Merovingian. There's a lot of Merovingian story going on here. Joseph Smith himself says that he is the blood of Joseph. Like he's like, yeah, I am literally the blood of Jesus because Mary Magdalene is in my family line. And it's on the family line, both sides, he says. So that's his story, not mine. I didn't have anything to do with that, but people don't like it when I say that. It is I just barely took a screenshot of this because people always come at me for that little quote. And Heber C. Kimball and Brigham Young both spoke about his pure lineage that has been preserved for generations. Orson Hyde also spoke about it. And Jedediah M. Grant publicly spoke about the wedding at Cana and Jesus's own marriage, and that Mary Magdalene and Martha bore his children. And that he actually had 3 wives. There was 2 Marys and a Martha. And so that's why the polygamy. And you can't go to the top heaven if you don't have 3 wives. Just telling you. So that probably is why.
This is Joseph Smith you're talking about.
Yep.
Okay.
This is what he says. He says he is the direct descendant of Jesus Christ on the tribe of Judah. Yep. And on the maternal line, she is a direct descendant of Mary Magdalene, the tribe of Ephraim. And so he has a prophetic birthright. People will say that's just because he's adopted by the blood of Christ, blah, blah. Nope, that's not true. You better look into your history, people, because he spouts off all about his bloodline and Irish and being from the king, the Nile of the Nine, or the Tuatha De Danann. So people need to check their stuff. I have checked my stuff. I know.
But
what
it
they
doesn't
said.
even make sense to think that because of the timeline. Not even there's no way possible there'd be so much genetics throughout that timeline that there'd be no way to keep that true bloodline
So
going.
this is the story of the Templars, that they spirited her away under the cover of night, and she was already with child. And then they took her into hiding, and that, you know, Jesus met back up with her later and before he was crucified. So, and they had more children. And so this is their story, not mine. Yeah, it's real.
Okay.
I mean, it's real to them. I don't know if it's
You know
real,
what though?
real.
That who knows? That's one of the books.
We don't
That's
know.
probably one of
Yeah.
the pages that's ripped out of the Bible that we don't know about. You know, there could be
I
more
mean,
of that.
anything is definitely possible. And I will definitely give them that. And the Shekinah and all this stuff, because the Mormons do believe in a heavenly mother. The Templars definitely worship a goddess top level. And funny enough, they like to go this is how they used to do it and worship outside. They'd put like this golden thing up on top of a spire. I mean, same kind of thing. And then they would do the worship at this certain time of day. So it would like gleam off of that. And there's a whole thing about it. And when I read it, I went, yep, okay. Looks familiar. I don't,
Interesting.
yeah. And these are all the Masonic signs that are on the temple. I'm sure they're scrubbing them as we speak because they're redoing the temple for the 10,000th time. Yeah. Cloudstones, moonstones, sunstones, pentagrams, pentacles. If you will notice, window looks like a phallus. Then we have a circle, phallus, circle, phallus, circle, phallus, circle. It's all the same thing as everybody else. It's all
Holy
goddess
shit,
worship
yeah.
at the end. Yeah. And when we don't have that, we have sacred geometry and all the different things. There's always a Big Dipper on there. That's also very significant. The spires are significant. There used to be a fountain right in front as well. They used to call it, this is actually funny. I'm going to stop the share because I can just see you guys then and you can ask me questions. But they used to call it the Fountain of Living Waters. And I think it was a little too on the nose and maybe that made people mad. I don't know if they were like, you said the quiet part out loud, stupid. And then, so they took it out. And now it's shaped exactly from above, just like the Vatican. Exactly the same, like a keyhole. You ever seen the keyhole? Like,
Yeah.
and you know what? The Onassis Foundation is a keyhole, just like that. And there's a whole bunch of different businesses that are exactly like that.
Wow.
It's wild. It's
Wow.
fun.
It is definitely fun. Very interesting stuff.
Absolutely.
It gets
I've been on ChatGPT and the
Yeah,
Googling
Anthony,
all sorts of
I've been-
stuff
I have-
all episode.
I got a pencil over here. I'm
Same.
typing with
He's
one
like,
hand.
oh my gosh.
I'm like
Yeah,
trying to look to keep the presentation like I'm
You're good.
so I'm paying attention, but I'm like
I can't see you.
like,
I couldn't
holy
see
shit.
you. You were fine.
Okay, good.
You could have been.
Yeah, yeah,
scribbling
no,
all
it
the-
was
I couldn't see anybody.
it was a
was
lot.
like-
It was
Right notes.
I literally
It's
was like doing
wild.
fucking 10 things at once at one point.
Ugh. When I
Oh.
first started learning it, I thought my brain was going to explode for real. Like, because they don't tell you any of this at all. So when you start learning it and you already did it, you're like, what on earth? Every time I'd learn something, I'm like, what? No way, and then
So
I
did
get all
you-
pissed.
I'm not sure if you already said this. I'm sorry if you did, but how long ago did you leave
So
Mormonism?
I left when I was 34 and I'm going to be 50 this year. So.
Okay,
50,
Yeah.
60,
so quite some time. now.
So yeah, it's been a while and I really had to go through it. It wasn't like I just got out and I was like, yay, I'm all better now. Like my family all ostracized me. My grandma tried to take my kids away. Then she sued me. Like it was brutal. It was brutal for a full probably 2 years and then she passed away. I know that sounds really horrible, but she was older and it was just like, it wasn't anything horrible. And I wasn't glad, but I was like, ugh, okay, stop trying to sue me every day. Like it's annoying.
A little bit of a
Yeah.
relief.
Yeah.
Yeah, she was coming after me for like buying my kids school clothes and taking them on a trip to Disneyland. She
Yeah.
won. Mormon judge.
Wow.
Mm.
That's
a
crazy.
little
Yeah,
rough.
right. If you're going
Wow.
to
So what
court,
percentage of Utah would you say is Mormon? I mean,
Well, so they say now that it's only 50-50, but that's probably a lie. They're just probably counting off of how many people are active, right? Because a lot of people fall away, but then they come back. And actually, the Jack Mormons, we call them Jack Mormons. They're kind of like the Porch Masons, right? Like they're the guys that go, but they're not really in it. They're just for dinner. That's kind of like the Jack Mormons, and they go on like Easter and Christmas, whatever that equates
Okay.
to. But they really believe it because I think they have guilt from it, and then they will fight you to the death. I swear.
Right.
The-
Like
The
holiday
regular ones are
Christians,
like,
man.
okay, whatever. Yeah.
The same thing with Catholics who just go to church on Christmas and Easter, and that's it.
Right.
Yeah.
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 They're like somehow the most devoted people. I'm like, what? You don't even. Why do you care?
One
But-
day show up with ashes on their head that they put on them, sells from a cigarette in the parking lot
From their
before they
cigarette.
went to work. Yeah.
That's what's up. I mean, it's wild to me, like the things that they do, and like everybody will say, but they can't drink caffeine. Not true. They can drink. The original edict was you can't drink hot drinks, and that was like coffee and tea. That was it.
Okay.
well, I mean, technically, in like, so what is are they like mortal sins? Like, I mean, technically, in like the
Mhm.
Catholic religion, like having sex before marriage is a mortal sin. Masturbation is a mortal sin. Like, so technically, like,
Keep
it's all
going.
this stuff.
We're,
Yeah, no,
Yeah.
I know there's a list of them. I saw
no,
it. I had to
all
get
those. Mhm.
I mean, because I got at a later age, my sister
You had to do
wanted me.
confirmation and all
Yeah,
that shit, right?
exactly. My sister wanted me to be my nephew's godfather, so
Oh,
I
gotcha.
never went to religion, never got confirmed. So of course, the church rules, I had to be confirmed. So when I was reading all this, like, and going through all like the religion class and like later before confirmation learning,
Catechism.
I was like, oh my God. I'm like, yep, I do that. I do that. I did that. I did that. I did that. I'm like,
Yeah.
if these are
Check
mortal
all
sins.
the boxes.
I know. I always thought mortal sins were like murder, rape, like, terrible,
Yeah.
terrible
Yeah.
Don't
things.
even
But
think about it. I
Well,
yeah.
was a little kid, and like I had to go in and tell, like, when I was, I don't know, 10, 11, go in and tell this creep behind a wall my
The priest.
sins.
Yeah.
Yeah.
same.
You know what I
Except
mean?
I had to tell him to his face, and he was
Yeah.
right
Yeah.
there.
So
we told him, I'd be like, oh, I cheated on a test.
I guess
didn't
back
want
to my
tell him
question,
shit.
like, do people cheat on, like, I mean, is it kind of like the same idea, like where like they don't take it as, you got the college
those are the
kids, they have
Those are the
BYU.
Jack Mormons.
Oh no, yeah, no, they take it very seriously. Like, they used to tell us that having sex before marriage was next to murder. Mhm.
Wow.
You're a murderer. So, because you can never make it white again. And what's the one sin that you can't repay? It's like sex stuff, because you can't repay the sex because it's already done, and you can't fix that. So, you can never sin like that. So they have a high divorce rate because people are dumb like me, and then they meet a dumb guy, and 3 weeks later they're married because they don't want to do a mortal sin. And so,
Right.
like, oh, so much smarter to get married as a child. Okay, that seems smart. Like, okay, that was stupid. I mean, did I create the mortal sin? No, now I have kids, and it was a whole mess to go through a divorce back then. Like, that's
Right.
dumb. And so, yeah, I just don't know that helps. But like I said, if you get to the second anointing, you can do anything you want, and they hope that you wouldn't, right? Because you're benevolent now. They believe you're going to be a god, not like God, a god. And that man is just like God, and God was once a man, and he became a god, and then you can be a god. And so, no big deal. And that Jesus was made, by sex. Yep. And yeah. Actually, they say it better than me, with passions and pleasures, just like any other man. That's what they said. So whatever. But they bring the deity down, right? Because ultimately there's huge Zionists, and they want to bring heaven to earth, and they're going to be their own god of their own, like, place, right? They used to tell you, they used to say, you get Kolob, you'll get your own place. This is just some world that this God created. It's very Gnostic in nature, honestly. But then they won't tell you that, right? Like, I didn't know what a Gnostic was. I never heard that before once in my whole life until I became a podcaster. And people say that's insane, because most people know about that, but not if you live in a place where everyone is Mormon. I know what a Catholic was. We have one Catholic church, like, for miles and miles and miles. Like, it's not something that most people really even think about or would ask questions on. You don't even care. You're just like, oh, I did the things, so I'm doing that's all I have to do. And that's all. Yeah. You don't even think about that. But, so they don't like sexual sin. All the things you said are absolutely all the same. Like I said, we have to go tell, like, if you masturbated at 13, you got to go tell the guy sitting right there across from you at the desk, and he's writing his dumb little notes, but you can't just say, I just masturbated. He's like, so what did you think about? How was that? With what? How and where and how long and all the things,
Creepy
and
in
you
a
just
way.
want to die. No, there's been a lot of problems. Yes.
Yeah.
About these older men hearing this from some hot young 15-year-old or something. Like, that's not going to go well. This is stupid. Let's just say we're setting people up for stupidity here. Like, this is a bad idea.
Is it the same with the priest? They can't get married in the Mormon church, or can the priest?
No,
get
they
married?
do. They want them to get married and have
Okay.
so many kids. And it
Gotcha.
used to be until 1978 that they did believe in, like, the Great White Brotherhood, and you couldn't have the priesthood if you were black, but you could go to heaven as a slave, just so you know. And also, yeah, Brigham Young once said, and I quote, if you were to find your wife in bed with a black man, better to run a sword through both of them than let them live. It's best.
Oh shit! Yeah,
Some
Wow.
sins, yeah, they also believe that
Crazy.
they are not able to be atoned for with your own sorry and like go to the priest or whoever, whatever. Nope. That you have to have your blood spilled. And this is another favorite quote of Brigham's of mine. If you love your neighbor as yourself and he needs his blood spilled, then you should help him spill it because he needs your help so that he can go to heaven and attain righteousness. No shit.
So with Brigham, he pretty much gained all his power when he kind of helped take over the Western Territory and developed all his following of like when he
Wow.
protected people, right?
Which
Is that
power?
like the story?
The story, he took the saints, the majority of the saints, but there were other people that claimed authority as well. So the Strangites went to Wisconsin. He started the Halcyon Illuminati. And then that's a whole thing. We've got, and actually one of Joseph Smith's brothers went with him. So it's not like it's just a cuckoo guy. I mean, like obviously the brother went, then other people went with Brigham, and Brigham got in tight with the Rothschilds, and Brigham started to get in tight with the railroads. And actually the railroads and Promontory Point was actually finished here in Utah. And he did that by using the slave labor of the Mormons and promised them that they would get paid, but they never did. And
Guys, why do the
he-
railroads
yeah.
always come in the conversations?
As
I know, they
they're
always-
robber barons. This is where the money, and here's a fun one. If you like the Templars, and I do believe this ties into my theory on things, because I know that Lanzo Meadows was infiltrated by people that were Christian way before Columbus ever got here. Okay. We know this. And they named a bunch of their kids Mary and Joseph in the Micmac tribes, which I am a little bit Micmac native, and that's a Canadian Aboriginal tribe. Okay. And so they knew certain people were magical, and they would tell them, go take the brides of these natives, because they knew they had spiritual gifts, and make them more, this is a quote, white and delightsome, and buy up their children and make them more white and delightsome and help them to become more white. So that was fun. They did that. We know that Lanzo Meadows happened. So we know that the Templars likely made it here. If the Templars, which I mean, okay, the Rosicrucian movement and a lot of Americans came here because they were running from another Inquisition. That's just fact.
Mhm.
Okay. And so if we have these people, and Joseph Smith's related to 7 on the Mayflower that we know of, at least 7, there's a high likelihood that he may be in part with one of these people, because he's also working with the first family of Jewish people that were really important here. And yes, of course, the Ashkenazi. And it was like half and half. It was like half Ashkenazi, half regular Sephardic. And so he was in learning Hebrew with one of the most important families in all of the United States, the Sykes family, SEIXAS. So you're telling me the Sykes family that was at the inauguration of George Washington and gave the first Thanksgiving prayers is just teaching this dumb farm boy that's nobody? What the hell are you talking about?
Yeah.
That's not true. That's weird. No, this is all a lie. But if you had all that Templar treasure and you really got it here, what's the one really great way you could hide it and say you made money from the railroads?
Railroads.
Sorry, any industry.
They buried
any industry.
it in Oak Island.
I think they buried it all over.
You think
I
so?
think a lot of people were involved in this, because I keep finding all these weird links, like that Jewish link. And then I have another one that's a spiritualism link. Like, it's not just one church, it's all of them. And they all work together, and they all know it. They all know. That's why I won't join a church.
Wasn't it alleged the Templars had the Holy Grail as well? They were running around with?
Well, the Holy Grail is the least of our worries, let alone that Trump built an exact replica and then sent it off. But yeah, I think they had that, and the Spear of Destiny, and who got that, right? Like the Thule Society, right? We get into Nazis all over the place on this, But when we talk about all this stuff, and it seems crazy, but we know some of it happened. And why did we invade Iraq? Who knows the answer? What was in those
Yeah.
Clinton emails?
Yeah. Were they looking for
Nimrod.
the Nimrod? Yeah, the Gilgamesh.
So
Mm.
why is the Mormon Church? Before I stopped sharing, I should have showed you guys, but I wasn't sure how long if I was taking too long.
Okay.
So the Mormon Church got the records of the genealogy, and they made this thing called the Divine One Royal Line, and on it is the Jewish star, and it says in it, from this line kings will rule, and it's called the Divine Right to Rule. Okay, and it's about King David, and they literally have Joseph Smith on there as one of the descendants, and he's on there with all these other people that are supposed to be the rulers. Okay, so when we look at this, where did they get the records? Well, we know who had the records and who kept records was the priests, right? The Catholic Church for the most part, not to say that some other churches didn't add, but we definitely know Germany was super into collecting those. They were all about that action. And so, you know, they're trying to prove that people, just to work, they had to get these passes that showed that they were 3 lines back, not from, and I quote, a Jewess. Okay, this is their stuff, not mine. And so they have these books on it, and it's called IBM and the Nazis. And IBM's interesting because they got all the records after the war when everything was taken down. Well, they weren't sure what they were going to do with them, so they handed them off to the CIA. And the CIA has them, and the Mormon Church was like, hey, you know, we fund you through Howard Hughes. I can't prove that part. And I want those records because I want to digitize them. I can prove that part. Underneath another sister company, underneath Howard Hughes. And I want those. And this is William Gay. His name is Bill Gay. He goes by Bill. And, you know, we want them. And they said, okay, let us talk to Microsoft and IBM and all this. And they did. And they got those records. And I have a FOIA CIA declassified doc that says they did. Okay. This isn't like Heidi making up stuff. This is real. And so why would they do that? Right. But then we get back to the Gates family. And remember, we've got Mary Gates, who is on the board of IBM at that time. And we've got the Gates family absolutely linked to the Mormons through Lydia Gates, which is Joseph's mother's mother. Okay. So when we talk about these people that are supposed to be nobodies, they're nobodies from Nowheresville. We've got all these important people, plus the mom's side, no one ever picks up anything about them. And he goes on the Mac side, they go on to found Pontiac, Michigan. They go on to find Mactown, Illinois, all these places that Joseph Smith's like literal uncles are finding, okay, clear across the land. And then they start marrying into the Native American tribes and taking their land because they have children with them, and they claim that land underneath their children, and then they claim money for it too.
The same things the Rothschilds did.
Yep.
Mhm.
And they knew
So
that
he
game plan
became
why.
because he became friends with the Rothschilds.
I think he was related because I'm a Stewart, and they were like, I know this is a lot. So the Jacobin movement and trying to put the Stewarts back in, you know, that whole movement that the Jacobins were constantly trying to do. And it gets into the Illuminati, which people forget. The Illuminati just stopped. They didn't take them down. Nobody got killed. The guy just went and retired in a castle, and okay, he just quit plotting. My ass. Like, no way. That's not true. There's no way. So we're just saying that he just became a good boy and never did anything bad ever again. Okay. Because plotters are like that. No, what? No, they're not. That's crazy. So if we get into all this stuff and get back to what we really think was happening at that time, it goes into that and that whole alchemical marriage, and it gets into like Shakespeare, and it gets crazy. It goes down like a whole weird rabbit hole, but it connects almost everything, including JFK. I researching the Mormons.
Wow.
I just one day was researching JFK and didn't want to research the Mormons. And who shows up? The Mormons. I was like, why are you here?
It's all connected.
What? Carrie Thornley was a
Always
Mormon.
is.
If you know anything about JFK, you know who Carrie Thornley is. Carrie Thornley's a Mormon. It's like on paper. And so
Wow.
all of this stuff and the genealogy records, they get them all and they put them and computerize them, and then they lock them in these huge vaults. You should look up Granite Genealogical Center, and you'll see they blew a whole side of the mountain out to make sure these records are safe, because records, you know, but the razor wire and everything that's on there was semi-automatic weapons and tunnels underneath. We need that. We need that for this. You're crazy though. That's weird. I think they know a whole lot, and they were definitely in bed with the Nazis, a lot of them. The prophet at that time, the president of the church, was in bed with a lot of people, but one of them, he sent aid to Germany after the war, but not for the cause. He sent it to the Nazi survivors. And why did he get away with it? Because they were Mormon. He had helped baptize them in. Yeah. And guess what?
Huh.
Last thing I'll say about, because I could go on forever. The last thing is on weird connections is Werner von Braun. Werner
Okay.
von Braun was in a theological film that was produced by Mormons for their theology that was private and personal and all that stuff. Okay. And back then they didn't have a ton of dissenters like me running their mouths all over somewhere. So it was super important. They would slice your throat back then. Like it was serious. Okay. He was in this movie for them, and he was the only one that wasn't a Mormon in there. And he's in it. If you put in why was Werner von Braun in a theological film for the Mormons, it'll pop right up. It's weird. I can't explain
Werner
it.
von Braun, creator of NASA, Hitler's
That's right.
right-hand man.
Well, do you know who Don, what's his name? The NASA guy. Don. You guys know who I'm talking about? He's Don Lind. Do you know who Don Lind is? He's like one of the top NASA guys when it first started
Okay.
up. He's a Mormon. The guy that invented the TV, Philo Farnsworth, he's a Mormon. All kinds of stuff. It's crazy stupid. It's weird. And they're always in the CIA, 3-letter agencies. From my house, they actually top recruit from BYU. They are literally have been in trouble for sending people in as missionaries and actually infiltrating countries this way. El Salvador was one. And they get in there.
Venezuela, boom.
Well, yeah, I'm pretty sure, but I can prove El Salvador. I can't prove Venezuela yet, but I'm just telling you guys, like, this is like serious stuff because they literally have their headquarters. There's the Air Force Base about 20 miles. There's the NSA about 40 miles. There's the FBI, CIA, and the IRS all within 40 miles of me, either which way.
Gee, all
Yeah.
surrounded. They got you surrounded. They're waiting to make. You're gonna
Ah,
get that knock.
no,
You're gonna
they
get that knock
interfere.
on that door you've been waiting for sooner or later.
No.
Come on.
No.
Bring it. I don't
No.
care. You know what they do now? They just let people look crazy because it's
That's it.
better for them.
That's
Mhm.
fine.
Yeah. But ultimately, what I'm saying is when Brigham Young took over the church, he became all about like money. They brought in the Federal Reserve at some point. You know, there's a lot of things that happened with banking that we can't go into today. Then we get Howard Hughes and the Mormon Mafia. The Mormons built Las Vegas, settled Las Vegas, period. It is a fact. And then we've got them, you know, having complete access to Howard Hughes's money. And Howard Hughes had FU money. He had like,
Yeah, there's a lot of shit. I want to bring you back
Crazy
on to talk
money.
about the Vegas setup, because when we were doing that, when you were talking earlier and I was doing my research, I was finding a lot of stuff on Vegas and the casinos
Yep.
and everything else. So
and they're
that
in
could-
with
that
the mob.
brings- and that's where
Yeah.
you get the Mormon Mafia connection right there. So
Yes.
I'd love to do a
And
deep dive
Nixon and
episode.
JFK. Yeah.
Yeah,
You got it.
yeah.
I'm about
Let's
the
do-
nerdiest conspiracy girl you've probably ever
This
met,
is fun
but-
though. This stuff is cool, especially like I said, the Brigham Young stuff I didn't know much about, and when I started watching American Primeval, I did a little bit more research as I was going,
Yeah.
but not nearly enough down the rabbit holes we're talking today.
Yeah, it gets
but
weird. It's
it
fun
does.
though.
It's so much fun. Heidi, where can
I
our
appreciate-
listeners find you? We appreciate you taking the time and giving us all this information, but where can our listeners find you?
Absolutely. And I love talking about this stuff. Like I said, you can't just spout this off to your neighbor. It will completely terrify them. So it's always fun when I get to come on, especially if you know conspiracies and you guys are like, oh yeah, we know this and this. It's fun when it goes that way because sometimes it's just religion and that's good too. But,
Yep.
a little bit fun to bring in
You
conspiracy.
can bounce it around. Absolutely. That's what we do
Yeah.
here on Chaos. Take it everywhere.
I like it. It was fun. So I'm at the Unfiltered Rise. I'm everywhere podcasts are served. You can find me at unfilteredrisepodcast.com. And I would love you to go to my Spotify because YouTube only gets a hit once a week from me because they like to hit back. And so, yeah, it's a whole situation. I can't just be going on there talking all crazy like this. It's not going to work out for me.
No doubt,
So
no
that's where
doubt.
I'm at. And I'm on Twitter and everywhere. I talk a lot of crap on Twitter. If you guys want to know, like a lot of little tiny drops that are like factual, and I do that a lot on there too. So
X, Twitter, whatever people call it. Yeah, that's awesome. Well, we truly appreciate it. We have to set something up soon to get you back on and hear more about the
Yes, absolutely.
Mormon Mafia. I'm definitely interested in that. And
That one's
a little bit about there's a lot of ties. We were talking about the railroad industry and the banking industry. I'd like to talk about that too, and some of the deep dives into the 13 families there. So
that would be a fun one because I'm almost finished with kind of an expose I've been doing on that, and nobody's got that one yet. So yeah, I'm down.
all right, awesome.
Yeah,
We'll set that up.
That'd be
Appreciate you so much. We're going to take a quick second here, and then we're going to chop it up with the boys and give you a quick recap of the episode. But Heidi, thank you so much, guys. Make sure you guys go check her out
Thank
at the
you so
Unfiltered
much.
Guys. We'll talk to you
Appreciate your
soon.
time.
Thanks, Heidi.
Bye.
See ya.
Bye.
Thank you, Heidi.
Boys, another one, man. That was a long one, but a good one, man. Hope everybody's still tuned in. Shout out to Heidi Love. She came in with all the information on the Mormons, the deep dive into Joseph Smith Jr., where the religion came from. I mean, a little bit of everything. We had some crazy conversations off air. She's going to be coming back on to take some deep dives in some other directions as well. But what you guys think of the episode overall?
Oh, I love the presentation, man.
Yep.
It honestly makes our job a little easier when
And
they got a presentation.
you're like, oh, you know how to do it? Yep, right here.
There you go.
It's
Right.
just-
I brought it up for her. I was like, here you go. I was like, rock
Anth
and
almost
roll
went
with it.
Dr. Ramsey on us tonight. I thought.
No, I did not fall. I was not those. That's why I ran and got another cup of coffee though, because I figured it was going to be, it's if I'm not engaged and talking, it's easy to, just kind of zone out. But it was great. I did not zone out. I actually was tuned in, and it was definitely interesting, and can't wait to have her back.
It's funny because I'll be sitting over here typing on my computer, looking up stuff, and then I'll look over at you guys, and Ant's over typing, and Mikey's got his head down and he's typing. I'm like, we're all chat GPT and the shit out of what she's talking about right now.
Dude, I got like 3.5 pages of shit so I can look it up. Like I was just nonstop, head down, just writing, looking up at her occasionally while she talks. I love those kind of episodes though, man, like where you learn a lot. Like I love those.
Yep.
And you see how like everything is always tied together, dude. Like we say it every episode, no matter what we talk about, it's tied together.
A lot of it came back to the Illuminati and everything. Yeah.
We got to talk about the chicken snake god tonight. I've been waiting for that episode. Did you guys have a chance, Ant, to pull that picture up?
Yeah, it was up.
Not
When we
Oh yeah, she had it up. Yeah.
Yeah, it was up. Yeah.
Dude,
But yeah, no, it was good. I can't wait to have her back on.
Yeah, that's gonna be dope. Tripoli had a T-shirt made of like him off of on the head, and then XG and Johnny as the Snake Eyes, and like Eddie Bravo was on there somewhere. It was a fucking chicken snake god tinfoil T-shirt. It was funny as shit. It sold out in like 20 minutes. It was fucking great. But yeah, dude, it's gonna be great to have her back on. I want to take the deep dive into the Mormon Mafia. I want to keep saying Morgan for some reason. Mormon Mafia, because we are just talking about that Morgan guy.
Yeah.
But I want to take that dive and then also dive into her family history a little bit. Take a little deep dive into her family. I didn't know if she was comfortable with it. She said she is, so we're gonna go dive into the Stewart family. That's a family I'm just hearing about in the past 6 months.
Yeah. And when she plugged it in, I don't know if you noticed, I was taking notes, and when I heard her say it, I just looked up real quick. I was like, wait a second, there's no tie, is there? And then we obviously talked to her in between afterwards. And
she did mention it on air. She did. She goes, "I'm a Stewart," and we were always, oh shit! I wrote that down. I spelled it wrong the first time. I wrote it down so fast.
Yeah, I think I even texted you. I was like, dude, did she just say that?
Yeah.
Which is awesome.
Shit.
Well.
Yeah, so we're gonna get into that.
And you notice, I don't know if you noticed, the late night podcast that we have. The more tired Anthony gets, the worse his hair looks.
Oh, bro. He gets he'll start just keep rubbing his head.
I don't
have any hair to do it either. Right? I'm bald too,
exactly. So I don't get to see it. But
I'm
I
a
see
two all the
it,
way
it just
through.
gets,
You're just
more
jealous. I
pro-rear
have a
and pro-rear.
beautiful head of hair, baby. Beautiful head of hair.
Yeah, you got two.
You got
two
a receding
bald guys
hairline
and a
under there
fucking
though,
Q-tip.
so enjoy it while you can, buddy, because it's gonna be gone soon.
I better
Receding
have when
hairline.
I'm fucking 44 years old.
Two bald guys and a Q-tip over here. For people listening, Anthony looks like the guy. I know everybody's probably watched Home Alone 2 over the Christmas season here. Anthony looks like the guy in Home Alone 2. If you haven't watched it, it's on YouTube, which everybody should go check out our YouTube, subscribe, leave us a 5-star review on all platforms.
By the way.
It's free. It takes you 2 seconds. Go on your Apple where you're listening right now. Scroll down to the bottom. hit the 5 stars, write a review, give a thumbs up, something. We'd appreciate it. It would help in the algorithm for sure. But Anthony looks like the fucking, what do you call him? The doorman at Home Alone 2, fucking, who tries to go in and fucking catch the old man in the shower. Yeah, there he is. He looked just like him, dude. I watched that and I couldn't stop. I kept telling my wife, I go, look at this guy good. And then I pulled up the picture, one of the pictures I had of you, and your hair's all fucked up like you got it now. And I was like, look, it looks just like Anthony. I probably still got it on my phone. But yeah, nah, dude, another great episode, boys. I think we're gonna change it up a little bit too with the way we have, at least for the next couple of weeks. With the content, we're gonna give you guys 2 episodes a week, Tuesdays and Thursdays. We're gonna drop them most likely. If I don't know, Mondays and Wednesdays or Tuesdays and Thursdays. I haven't quite decided yet, but we'll figure it out as we go here. So be on the lookout. Check out the Instagram. Check out the Twitter. I'm gonna use that a lot more as well. Also, don't forget to check out YouTube. And like Mike said, it's free. Just hit the like button, subscribe, leave a 5-star review. Helps us in the algorithm and continue to grow. We're going to continue to bring you guys great content and want to continue to be able to deliver a dope product. So help us out any way you can. Boys, you got anything?
No, man, I'm cooked.
Wrap this bitch up, man.
Real quick, since I know Anthony's a big Trumper. You see that new smoke and mirrors that just happened the other day? You notice all the pictures of the president of Venezuela had different outfits on each picture they took?
I just noticed that today, Mike. 5 minutes
Why are they
before we
doing
got
so
on.
many changes? Why so many clothing changes? Why is he smiling? Why is he
5 minutes
what's-
before we
I
started
don't know. I'm
recording
too
today.
tired to deal with this right now. I'm going to bed.
Yeah, we'll definitely run that. We'll run that episode about everything that just happened with Venezuela.
I think we you know what? Let's do this. Since we got done recording late tonight, and they're gonna be a little cranky tomorrow, but I think we bust out a half-hour live on the whole
Yeah.
Venezuela situation.
Yeah. Good luck. You and Mikey got this.
All right, my
I'll do
aunt's
it.
fucking
My
aunt's
girl's
gonna need
working
an
tomorrow,
IV
so.
drip in the morning. You want to do it, Mike?
Yeah, he is. IV coffee drip. Yeah, let's do it.
Yeah, we'll do it.
You guys are
Aunt,
crazy.
Aunt will jump on. He's 100% in on conspiracy
I'm already
chaos here,
getting
folks.
yelled at by my wife right now for talking.
Yeah, me too.
Go to
Mine already
bed.
popped around the corner.
Mine's been passed out for 45 minutes. All right, boys.
Yeah.
Appreciate everybody tuning in. We'll catch you next time on Conspiracy Chaos. Peace.
This is Conspiracy Chaos. Truth, fiction, or both? Let's dive in.